Hi guys, the liberal conservative here, back again with another video. Depending on who you ask, Clavicular is either a warning sign for where live stream culture is heading, or he's just another creator people are projecting their frustrations onto. And that's exactly why this conversation keeps popping up. So let's get into it. So for anyone who doesn't know Clavicular, he's a live stream personality who is built a pretty intense online presence around high energy content, lifestyle flexing, self-improvement talk, at least that's what he calls it, and just very unfiltered live broadcast. He's the kind of creator that doesn't really filter himself, for better or worse, and that's part of why he grew so fast. But recently, his name has been tied to controversy after controversy online. People have been talking about erratic live stream moments, concerns about his behavior on camera, and wider discussions about the kind of audience he's attracting, especially younger men. Now, I want to be careful here because the internet loves to exaggerate things and not everything you see gets the full context. But what is true is that there's a growing conversation around his influence and whether it's healthy or not. And that's where things get interesting. Because on one side, you've got people saying Clavicular is actively harming young men. They'll point out the way he talks about success, money, status, appearance, like it's all tied together in this very extreme win at all costs kind of mindset. Some people feel like the messaging pushes this idea that if you're not constantly grinding, upgrading your looks, chasing wealth, or living at maximum intensity, then you're falling behind or you're failing in life. And in that kind of framing, life stops being balanced. It becomes performative. There are also concerns people bring up about live stream culture itself, right? The idea that when you're constantly live, constantly on, there's pressure to entertain no matter what state you're in. And critics argue that this environment can sometimes lead creators into unhealthy patterns, or at the very least blur the line between entertainment and real life well-being. Some of the more serious discussions online also mentioned specific moments that circulated on social media where viewers felt uncomfortable with what they were seeing in real time. And that sparked broader debate about responsibility, moderation, and whether platforms are doing enough. Again, I want to stress a lot of this is internet commentary, clips, and audience interpretation, but perception matters online. And once a creator becomes attached to a certain narrative, it tends to stick. Now, on the other side of things, you've got people defending him pretty strongly, and their argument is basically he's just being himself. He's just trying to make it. They'll say Clavicular is authentic in a space where a lot of creators are fake or overly polished. They'll argue that young men aren't being ruined by him. They are just being shown a raw, unfiltered version of ambition, confidence, and lifestyle expression. Some even say the criticism is exaggerated because people are uncomfortable with high energy masculine or extreme personality type online. So they try to label it as harmful influence instead of just different content. And that's a fair point worth acknowledging because not every intense personality online is automatically a negative influence. Sometimes the internet does overreact, especially when clips are taken out of context. But here's where I land on this. I think the real issue isn't just Clavicular as an individual. It's what live stream culture turns people into. When you build a system where attention equals income, right, and intensity equals attention, you are going to get extremes. You're going to get creators pushing themselves further, talking louder, acting bigger, living more publicly, and sometimes losing boundaries in the process. And young audiences, especially younger men trying to figure out identity, success, and purpose, can get caught in that loop. They start comparing their normal life to someone's highlight reel, or worse, someone's 24/7 performance. I said performance because that is what most of these live streamers are doing. They are performing. You hear a lot of commentary talking about how most of these live streamers are not as joyous or excited when they are off stream. They are more laid back, right? They are more laid back people. And that's where things can get messy. Because even if the message starts as hard work or improve yourself, it can slowly morph into never stop, never slow down, never be satisfied, which is not a healthy way to live long term. At the same time, I don't think it's as simple as saying this creator is ruining young men or Clavicular is ruining young men. That's a very easy headline, but reality is always more layered. People don't just copy influencers blindly, right? Regardless of the popular opinion out there, I believe that people actually do not just copy influencers blindly. There's choice involved, there's interpretation, there's personal responsibility. But influence is real too, and pretending it isn't just makes that conversation worse. So maybe the better question isn't, is Clavicular good or bad? Maybe it's what happens when internet culture rewards intensity over stability. What happens when internet culture rewards over excitement, over, being real, being laid back, being yourself? What happens when young men are constantly fed content that equates worth with status, money, and dominance? And what happens when creators themselves are stuck inside that system too? Because honestly, I think that's the bigger story there. It's not just about one person, it's about a whole environment that pushes everyone, creators and viewers, toward extremes. Anyway, that's just my honest take on it. I'm curious where you land on this. Do you think Clavicular is genuinely a negative influence on young men? Or do you think people are overreacting and missing the bigger picture of live stream culture? I know that he was recently deplatformed from YouTube and I believe Twitch because he overdosed on live about twice. I think that for that was a good move on those platforms. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I do read them, even the ones that disagree with me. If you found this interesting, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel so more people can find this discussion. I'll see you in the next one.